It's a talk show, and I want everybody to call and say what's on your mind. Do you honestly believe that an elected official or a police chief can stop people who are criminals from being criminals? The government's checkbook is not going to solve the problem with the hand. We are never going to give an opportunity to decide if you individually care enough about your community to do something. 910 AM Superstation. We're the hottest station in town. Good morning, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is 6 o'clock in the morning. If you got to be there by 7 o'clock, you got 1 hour to get there. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. I want to talk about a couple of things today. One, leadership in politics. Leadership in politics, what you're looking for, particularly since people are starting to line up and let you know what offices they plan to run for the next election cycle, which is fast approaching. But I also want to address some text messages I got about folks rioting and shooting. Apparently, there were 9 people shot in Denver the other night after the Denver Nuggets won their NBA championship. And there was celebrations in the street, which turned into rioting, which during that rioting, there were 9 people shot. And folks are acting outraged and saying, we got to talk about it, see how those people are when they act. When, they want to talk about us, but they don't want anybody to point out what's happening when they're rioting. I got to tell you, the news has done a horrible job of covering the violence that arose as part of the rioting. It's basically because the news has been obsessed for the last couple of days with the arrest and arraignment of a former president. But yes, it happened. But let me just tell you this. Here's the thing. When you live in a glass house, don't go throwing stones. Y'all haven't forgotten what happened back in 1989, the first time the Pistons won the championship, have you? If you weren't born in 89, I understand. If somehow you lived in another state, trust me, I know good well you heard about how Detroit clowned the night that the Pistons won in 1989. I had the pleasure, yeah, if that's what you want to call it, of living downtown and watching the violence unfold before my eyes. And I was watching the game. You'll remember that was the year that the Pistons swept the Lakers. I did not understand when all of these cars started flying down the street and coming into downtown, while all of these people were hanging out of the windows with these brooms. Took me a minute to figure out that that was their way of paying homage to the fact that the Lakers had been swept. But it quickly, and when I say quickly, I mean very quickly, turned from people just looking for a way to get downtown to celebrate to, and you'll remember that our downtown then used to be worlds different than the downtown now. Downtown used to be a ghost town. There was absolutely nothing to do. There were no stores open. There were no restaurants. There were not a lot of places to go. You either went downtown to go to the Rinse Inn, to go to the movie theater, and then you turned around and left. So there was nothing downtown, but there was Hart Plaza. And as best I remember it, the crowds started growing. I got nosy, and so I threw my stuff on and decided, let's go see what's going on with all of these crowds that are going towards Jefferson and Hart Plaza. And as the crowds were growing and the people were walking that way, and it became a large crowd. It became the one place that everybody descended upon. The police did then, but I don't know if you remember, the police had this way of they would block off certain streets. So you would get the opportunity to drive downtown, make whatever noise you were going to, and then they would direct the traffic back onto the freeway. Y'all go away. That was it. But the people that got out of their cars got out and started walking. So I was like, yeah, I'm nosy. I'm going to go follow the crowd. And then out of nowhere, somebody, as we walked along Melody Center, started breaking out the windows of the store that was down there. I was like, Okay, I don't really know. Yeah, I'm from Chicago. When in Chicago, yeah, they won some championships, but I had not seen the the sort of crowd changing from everybody is celebrating and cheering to there's going to be some violence. And I was also in the crowd that wound up over in Hart Plaza that night. You'll remember that the crowd wound up overturning a vehicle for Local 4, and with the people that were inside of the vehicle at that time. And that, one of the, I don't remember her name right now, one of them got a head wound that, she had to have covered for several years. Detroit was not quiet that night. There were gunshots. There was apparently some fool who decided that he didn't like seeing the number of people that were out in the street, who decided that he was going to drive through the crowd and mow people down. There were shootings and there was violence that night too. I say that to say this. Listen, these things happen when you get large crowds together. That's why the police spend a lot of time talking about the science of what happens when there's a crowd. People that would normally be, shy and quiet and reserved to themselves, when they wind up in a crowd, they lose their minds. And stuff happens that would not normally happen. And that's why the police go out of their way to try and they know this. Every police agency knows it. They've trained for it and they know what happens, how the mindset quickly switches from I'm minding my own business to I'm going to take part in whatever criminal activity this crowd is doing. And it's dangerous. So it's happened. It's happened in other cities. It's happened everywhere else. It's happened right here. Now, so just be careful when you start to say you want to judge what's happening in other cities. Listen, and we've had championships here. Basketball team, I believe three of them since I've been here. We've had championships for the hockey team. Uh, these once you get a large crowd together and everybody's blowing out steam. Now, I'm not talking about for the championship parade that occurs a couple of days later and it's in the daylight and it's well attended by police and things like that. I'm talking about the crowds which get together outside of bars and restaurants and places like that after the night that the championship is won. It's happened before, it'll happen again. And the real danger is now you've got a lot of you've got activity downtown, you've got restaurants, you've got a lot of bars and restaurants for people to congregate at. And if we wind up ever getting to the point that we've got a team that's in a position to compete for a championship, yeah, we're going to have to wind up figuring out a way to try to tamper down any of that sort of exuberance that comes whenever anybody decides when the team decides to win a championship. All right, enough of that. We're getting ready to get into another political season, and as a consequence, I mean I've been invited to it. I've gone to several, um, okay, to several events to get a chance to meet people who are running for office, for different offices. Not quite sure yet how the station's going to handle it this time around. I'm sure that we'll wind up getting together some sort of policy on when we can bring the people to you so that you'll have an opportunity to get to know them and figure out who stands where on what position. I know that we want to do that as quickly as possible with those folks who have not yet announced that they're running for office so that you can start to get to know them and they can actually come on to shows and talk and things like that now. Because once they announce, there's an entirely different set of rules. Y'all already know that. We'll deal with that when it happens. But let me just tell you from my position, I was raised to look for leaders and to vote for leaders. Uh, Being from Chicago, my example of a leader was the former mayor of the city of Chicago, was Richard Daley at the time. He actually, I mean, many of you know that he went on to become a very well-known political boss. Political bosses don't always run for office. Sometimes they actually run the political organizations that put people in the office, and sometimes they actually run for office and they go out of their way to put together a machine, an organization to keep them in office, them and the friends in office. Y'all have seen something very similar to that right here inside the city of Detroit. Um, And but the thing is, what I learned about leaders are people, political leaders are people that actually take action, and then they'll convince you the action that I'm taking, this is the right action, this is the right course of action, this is what we're going to do, and people get buy into it. The political leaders you see now, I can tell y'all, several of y'all, the folks that at least I know that listen to this show, you don't really like the leaders that are out there now. But here's the problem: they are leaders. Understand what happened yesterday, or the day, couple of days before Donald Trump was arrested and arraigned yesterday. He went on TV. He spoke. He said, "Y'all need to protest," and the police lost their minds. They shut down streets. They sent people home early. They prepared because they were scared about what happened during January 6th. They were prepared because that man, whether you like him or not, when he speaks, people do what he wants them to do. He is actually a leader. Yeah, the truth is, he might be leading them like the Pied Piper, and they're all going to wind up falling into a river later on. But the truth of the matter is, he's still a leader. Understand this: Chris Christie does not have that ability to move people to stand up and say, "I want you all to show up. We're going to riot, and this is what's going to happen." It's not going to. Even the governor of Florida. Let's understand this: those folks are not leaders; those are followers. There's a difference in a leader and a follower. A follower, let me tell you, anybody that decides that, well, I've got to read the polls, we're going to put polls out, we're going to ask specific questions to try and get the answers to what people are concerned about. And once we've read the polls and we know that people say that these are what my concerns are, then that's the position you adapt. And then you decide that this is what you're going to do. You're going to go out and tell all of the people, I'm for your issue A, I'm for your issue B, I'm going to support your issue C, I'm on your side. That's not a leader. That's a follower. And the unfortunate thing is, when years ago, what I saw in leaders, we don't really have a lot of that right now. We have a lot of followers. We have a lot of people that, whatever way they do that, we're going to go out and test the wind and see if the winds are blowing north, south, east, or west. And whichever way it is, I'm going to flow along with the wind. To me, that's not a leader. A leader actually says, I believe, and this is what I stand for. This is what I believe. And I want you to understand who I am, and we're going to go along this path. If you will let me, that's what I will do. I plan to carry out these policies. I'm going to follow in this direction. There are going to be some people who like that person and they agree with them and they follow them. And some people that are like, I don't like nothing about that person. I hate him. I'm never going to vote for him. That's going to happen. And I'm telling you, every candidate I've ever talked to, I've told the same thing to. There's some people that are going to like you, and there's some people that are not going to like you. If you think you're one of those people that everybody's got to love whatever you do, you're in the wrong business. Because there will, every single day that somebody gets up, there will always be somebody that's going to get up with an opposite position to whatever you feel. But to me, a leader actually decides to lead. They take stances, they take chances, they go against the grain sometimes, maybe quite often. But folks who actually decide, I'm going to do whatever the polls say do, to me, they're weak. Those people are ineffective, and I would never wind up supporting. But that's my opinion. I want to know what you want. What are you looking for in a leader? We're getting into a brand new campaign season. There are other people that are going to be running for office, and I want to know what you think. What are the qualities that you are looking for in your next leader? When you meet somebody, when you go to an event, what are the things that you're looking to hear from those people before you get there? 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. It's time to take the first break of the morning. I see how many of you are on the phone. It's a very quick break. It's only 3 minutes. We'll be right back, and we'll get to those calls as soon as we get right back.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I've had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads. Have you thought about a ministry program with the 910 AM Superstation? Want to expand your personal ministry or broadcast part of your service? We have prime radio time available now to expand your ministry. Call us and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. Tell the story of your church. Tell the old story on 910 The AM Superstation. Call Henry at 248-357-4566. A modest investment is requested.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. Let's go to the phones. Let's first talk to Dorian. Good morning, Dorian. How are you?
Good morning, Karen.
What's on your mind this morning?
Well, okay, you got a couple good subjects. The first one, Chicago. That had to get past it. So what you saw in '89, yeah, remember now, this was still the crack capital of the world back in the day. So yeah, you had a little wild going on in the summer of '89. I remember that vivid. And that's just something those are casual fans. Those are people who really don't pay attention to the sport, but it's just a reasonable reason to come outside and be prideful for your community. And people take it too far. And don't worry about downtown Detroit where you at down there. Because we ain't won no title for a long time. All them things is Detroit gonna sell again before we actually win another title for anything. Trust me. Don't worry about that. Don't look y'all say.
The Pistons owner is going out of his way to throw as much money as he can towards actually building a team. You can't lump him in with the Ford family or with the Illich organization. He actually wants to spend money to build a championship team.
Well, that's just loose change in his pocket, and that's the Detroit tax, because who wants to come to Cleveland, Detroit, or Chicago and play sports? Nobody. You got to overpay. That's just a given. That has been known for decades. You got to overpay for our talent to come here. And in likelihood, they're going to come here, and rarely you're going to get.
They came here. How many former Pistons were on that Denver team?
5.
Yeah. So they will come here first.
Half the team.
Say they'll come here first and get those skills and go on and wind up winning the championship somewhere else. We've seen it in baseball for how many years now? So
Yeah, I mean that happens. You got the Harvey Weinstein guy. He's coming here, he's fleecing Tigers, he's batting, he's the worst, hitter in baseball, and we giving him like $40 million a year, and we got making basically a corpse up there just doing his last little funeral parade, and he's going up there giving you ticks every other day. That's you have to pay a lot of, and he's making $33 million for that alone. So no, when it comes to that, don't buy into what Gores is doing, because Gores is barely paying attention to anything. He just wanted something because it's Ishbia. It's a Michigan State thing, if you know what I mean. Him and Dan Gilbert and Matt Ishbia are all Michigan State alumni, and they're all competing because they're all billionaires, right?
I actually have never thought about that before. Okay.
Yeah, right. And who got opposing businesses in town from one end of Woodward to the other end? Right. And
Okay.
this one guy right. He does something totally different. All he does is buy businesses. He's waiting for your business to fail so he can buy it and squeeze all the liquidity out of it. And he call it platinum equity. Right. So don't buy into
Don't knock it, brother. He's become as rich as he can from doing that. So it worked for him.
Oh, no, knock on it. Look, I ain't gonna knock your house. I love it. But just know it's just a sword fight. That's all. It's nothing more than that. And as far as politics and leadership, first of all, it's a popularity contest. Let's get this. You and I, especially you, because you're in the trenches with all of that. You know, if you ain't coming to no $1,000 plate dinners with a $15,000 to $20,000 check, you're not getting elected. You're not getting your vote does not count. That's how those people vote. That vote counts way more than my little vote with my little sticker on it. Okay, that's just a popularity contest. What you get elected is what's going on at those dinners and those fundraisers, because you have too much money tied into politics.
But hold on. Now, I'm going to say this, and I certainly hope that I don't hurt the Detroit voters' feelings. It's not just the Detroit voters, because I'm going to say the one thing that I've noticed since I've been in Michigan, since 1985, is you like the people who vote, you vote based on whether somebody's charismatic. If they're nice and they smile and they hug you and you get that warm feeling, you vote for them. And so, the truth is, having charisma does not equal leadership.
No, it does not equal out to leadership, but that's how, because that's part of the art of seduction. Charisma. It's a what they say, you're a whole vibe, right? You're a whole vibe. And see, some people know how to do charisma, they know how perfect timing for things. And so that's how that works. So what we're having in this democracy is when we're out burning buildings down. That's true democracy in this country, believe it or not. They don't want democracy. They want to control capitalism, naked capitalism with a little bit of authoritarian. But that's nothing to say what we're talking about. Leadership, whoever wants, have you ever noticed just a bus driver want to run for election? You ever notice the guy that you might get those outliers who are just mom and pops.
Brenda Lawrence worked at the post office.
Right. I know her personally. I do. And yeah, those sort of people, right? And then you have how many of those, how many Brenda Lawrences, how many Carl Levins have we really actually have had in our political system? Not many. The majority is blood-sucking people. There's only 3 people in this world that get paid for what they say. Pastors, politicians, and pimps. They do nothing but this mouth service.
Hold on.
Control.
The folks in this town loved Gil Hill. And Gil Hill was nothing more than a cop. That was it. He was a cop. Yeah, they knew his name because he had a 3-minute role in a couple of movies.
City council. Right. We weren't going to elect him as mayor. He comes to my barbershop.
He said it, and he said that over and over and over again. He said he understood that they will make him the top vote getter on city council. And he says, you're supposed to stop right there. He knew good and well. I worked with him on his campaign. He knew good and well that the run for mayor was an entirely different race. It was entirely different than being the top vote getter and becoming the president of the council. But they loved him because he was a cop. So yeah, folks who are ordinary people will run for office. But that's the thing. I look for leadership. What do you look for?
I look for, honestly, look, if you're looking for a leader, I'm looking for myself. I look in the mirror. I don't put these people on pedestals. I'd rather start a party called the Common Sense Party, the CSP. Let's get back to common sense.
People start common sense parties at least 3-4 times a year, and then they can't convince 12 people to wind up joining.
Because I'm not going to invite nobody to go come with a $10,000 check and try to buy me off. That part, like
those people are not going to get anybody elected.
Right, but the grassroots is where the Brenda Lawrence come from. Is where the Carl Lessons, is where these real
brother. Unless you get out and get to know who the people are in the grassroots, unless you go out and you meet those folks and find out.
But listen, that same money, that same caucus money is going to Channel 4, it's going to 2 and 7 and all of these channels, and is buying the newspaper. Doesn't got the newspapers in his back pocket. That's why you don't never see about anyone else.
I'm going to say that the newspapers proved themselves ineffective the last mayoral race, and we need to remember that the next time around. Let me see if I can get a couple of more callers in. All right, brother. Let's go to Ms. Leona. Good morning, Ms. Leona. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you? I look for a leader that has experience with the grassroots. Now, when you come to a leader, it's going to be different in the city of Detroit than for the president of the United States. That leader has to put in all races. But when you look for a leader for say, for instance, a mayor, a council member, we are 85%, I think, black. So the leaders will be different picks for the mayor than for the president. And seeing as though our leaders in Detroit, they can be bought off. They don't really care about the underprivileged people. But a leader should care about all people and do right for the ones that are not able to control their destiny like in Washington.
Hold on a second, Ms. Leona. When you say bought off, tell me your definition of bought off.
Bought off is I tell you I'm going to do one thing and they come in with the money or a position to make you go their way. So it's not for the money, it's the love of money. And seem like the black leaders in the city of Detroit, they tell us one thing, and I always say they got two heads on one body.
Ken, I need you on the phone, brother, right now.
Once they get in, they don't care anything about the underprivileged or the poor people. So it's the love of money, it's not money itself, because a person that's just for the underprivileged, they'll do right, but if you love money, you'll do anything to get a position. So you can't compare the leader for Detroit like you get for president. It's two different ways that you have to do for this.
Because we're talking about leaders in politics.
So it seems like our people that we put in, they flip the script. Once they get in, they don't care about the underprivileged or the poor. All they seem to care about is themselves.
You're right. All right. I got to take another break. Thank you, Ms. Leona, for calling. This morning, we're talking about leaders in politics. What are you looking for that before we get too deep into the next election season? What characteristics, what makes somebody a leader to you? Do they make up their own mind and do they drive forward? Or are you looking for somebody who does whatever the polls say? 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours. The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your #1 source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town. 910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600, but they must air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38. Enjoy. Along with the facelift comes new programming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38. The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative, seen all around the world. We bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to William. Good morning, William. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Mr. Jackson. Good morning. As far as most politics, as far as most leaders go, most leaders are charismatic followers. Now, Donald Trump, he's a leader. He's a charismatic leader, even though he's leading us towards anarchy and chaos. Nevertheless, he's a leader. He doesn't go which way the wind blows. America is fascinated with money and rich people. We think rich people have all the answers. We think rich people are the smartest people on earth. See, Don didn't need nobody's money because he, supposedly, allegedly had his own money, so he could say what he wanted to say. And so he wasn't worried about no kind of donations or anything. He knows how to work the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, he is a leader. Because, when we talk about sports, the first thing we say, oh, how much money they make. We talk about entertainment. Oh, how much money they make. It's not about their performance. It's about how much money they make. So see, we could, just like the two previous callers, I agree with both of them. We can easily be misled trying to follow money. Because as the last caller said, it's the love of it that could take us down. It's not money in and of itself that's the bad thing. It's the love of it.
But you just told the truth. You said that unfortunately voters follow, oh my God, he's got a lot of money. That to me is enough. I don't care whether he's a real leader. I don't really care what his history is in terms of discrimination, any of the other stuff. Oh my God, he's got a lot of money. So that's the person we're going to vote for. But, you see what happened when we wound up voting for somebody that we thought had money. You later on find out that person doesn't have as much money as they originally told you, and that they don't mind committing as much fraud as possible to get the next money. But we voted, a lot of folks in our country voted based on, oh my God, he's a successful businessman. Yeah, he actually bankrupted more than one casino. He's really not that successful. So I agree with you that one of the things that people have been voting for is they've been voting based on money. They also vote based on name.
Name recognition. Yeah.
If we know the name, oh my God, we're going to vote for him because, oh yeah, I don't know that name. I don't know that name. I know this name, so I'll vote for that name. He's got to be a member of that family. It's got to be good. Has nothing at all to do with whether or not the person has good leadership skills. Has nothing to do with whether they're going to look out for the constituency. It's simply we've been voting based on things that we shouldn't. So that's why I want to find out from folks, what is leadership to you? What do you look for when you go vote?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people didn't realize or may not understand that, Fred, Don's father, Fred, was the money man. Don just inherited everything and it went from there. He didn't earn the money, he inherited the money. Fred made the money.
Right.
His father made the money. And but as you said, all we see is the money. Whoever got the most money, somebody could be the worst person in the world. You know what somebody's gonna say? Well, at least they got some money. Are you crazy? At least they got some money.
So it's time for us to teach people to stop saying that. It's time for us to teach people to look for something other than whether you think that person has some money in the bank or how they got the money in the bank. It's time for us to learn to look for something better than, oh, he appears to be successful.
That's true, but that will never happen because see, money makes the world go round.
Brother, I don't believe in nevers. I believe that if we can start talking about it enough, then at least folks will pay enough attention. They might not all get the message, but a few of them are going to get the message. Thanks for calling. Let me knock out some more of these other callers. Have a good morning. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Rick. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. I was sitting here thinking that same thing. We're talking about it yesterday, the question that you asked. And certainly we know that our ground game is terrible. And that's exactly why people are standing there saying, well, I know this man with as many issues as Detroiters and people have in this country, really around the world. That is the worst way ever to try to look for a candidate based on he's just popular, or as the last caller just said, he or she has the money, or he or she is associated with somebody with money, that kind of thinking. And where it starts is what makes it, work so good. It starts when people are getting ready to vote instead of having a metric of saying, okay, what are, you counting as a voter? What do they have that you can count so that you can make them accountable? Well, if they don't even have your claim, your experience, okay, your problem, and they don't tell you how they hear about your problem, even here in Detroit, I've seen it even in smaller cities, right? If these people can't talk to the people who have your housing issues, who have your complaints, who have your son who's been violated issue, if they can't and they don't have that, then they shouldn't be a leader because they don't have a case for their leadership. But I'm saying that most of our candidates are not trying to be leaders. They're trying to have a job. They're trying to have upward mobility. They're trying to make a dream for themselves.
They're trying to have a job. Do you not know how much you just hit it out the park? They are looking for a job. They ran out of their last job and they're now looking for the next job. They want a check.
I'm sick about it because the end result is we get people who know all Robert's rules of order, guys who know how to win friends and influence people, but they don't know how to do nothing for them. Okay?
Which is why we're having this talk today. that it's time right before y'all start, before you wind up right in the middle of another political season. I want to remind you, and I'm going to start saying it. I've done this show at least once a year since I've been here. I think I need to start to do it once a month. I need y'all to have things in your mind that you're thinking about when you go around saying, when you meet this person who's running for office and that one, you've got to have an idea of what am I looking for in the person.
Questions they can ask people, Kerry. Ask them, say, what is your plan for getting and helping people to work together cooperatively? Because our biggest issue is we cause unity and ain't never set it to the courts, right? So where does it start? Who do you answer? Can you get people to work together? And if they start telling me they just want to inflict their political opinions on people and politics is just a dog game and they, you ain't got nothing. You got to have something to hold on to.
I agree.
If they're not listening to you, they ain't going to do anything. Make3.com, man. I'm out.
Thanks, brother. Let's go to James. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Terry. I just tuned in. I was asking your DJ there what was the subject for the day.
Leadership. What are you looking for in a political leader? Are you looking for somebody that actually takes control and drives forward and lets you know this is what I believe in, this is where we're going? Or are you looking for somebody that goes out and says, I need to know which way the wind is blowing. I don't really have a position. I'm going to do whatever y'all tell me to do. And I mean, listen, I'm not sure because, and this has been a political question that people have asked for decades, because there's no one right answer, because you've got a lot of people that are sitting at home and they only want elected officials who are going to do everything they want. And that's why, especially here in Michigan, you have so many ballot issues, because folks don't really want to cut loose control enough and leave it in the hands of the people that are in Lansing. They want control to say, nope, we don't like what y'all doing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go out here on my own. That's how you wind up getting all of these issues on the ballot, is because folks don't trust the politicians to do what's right. But me, as I said, I was taught to look for leaders, folks that actually say, this is what I believe. You can either believe me or not, but this is what I believe and this is what I'm going to do. And then they follow through on the things that they do. They actually take a position, they explain it to the people, and they drive forward for what they want. That's what I usually look for. That was what I always modeled myself out, but everybody's not like that. Everybody, some people, a lot of folks actually want somebody who you can call them every week and they'll change their position every time they want to, back and forth, depending on what's popular that week. They don't want to wind up hurting anybody's feelings or stepping on anybody's toes. That's where you get that phrase politically correct. But I want to know what you want. And the phone, hold on, let me just say this. The phone number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. All right, go ahead, James.
Yes, sir. I would prefer a man that or a candidate that knows what he wants, explains it to the people, and do what he says he's going to do.
See? Now, but you notice we don't have that many people that are like that. But think about the folks now. No, that's easy to say, well, that's the way Coleman Young was, or that's the way Harold Washington was, or Mayor Daley. All of those folks are dead, okay? List somebody right now who's in office who you can say, you can point at and say, this person's a real leader. This one is not afraid of, they might not vote for me next week if I do this. Who are the people that you can think of that actually would stand up and stand on their word and say, these are the actions that I took. Let me explain to you why I took them, but I thought that this was what was right to do.
I don't know one like this, sir.
That's the problem. We've let it slip away. We no longer are looking for real leaders. We've been going with whoever the popular girl is at the dance. And I think it's time we get past that. All right. Thanks for calling. Let me go to Carl. Well, actually, Carl, hold on, because it's 6:44. I'm not going to be able to get your call in. You can't say anything. They're going to be playing the music in a minute. So, Carl, just hang on. We'll talk to you when we come back on the other side of the break. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. It's the last break of the morning. We'll be right back.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside of Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature is fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listen, you'll remember that I used to have a co-host by the name of Shanae. Shanae and her husband, Ken, work tirelessly every single solitary day to look out for you, to look out for the voters in this city and in the state. And they go out of their way, both as a couple, as a power team, to take on different issues and bring in and find grassroots candidates, those who actually have an opportunity to want to fight to try to represent you. And I've been begging Ken all morning to get on the line, and Ken's on the phone right now. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Good morning, Kerry.
Listen to that voice, y'all. Ken, first of all, tell everybody before we get too far in it, tell them the name of your organization and what you do for a living.
No, for a living, I exist, but I'm the executive director of Michigan United, the Michigan People Standpoint. We're a statewide grassroots organization that fights for immigrant rights, public health, healthcare for all. We train people to run for office, train people to be office staff, we train people for campaigns. And we teach people really what's going on in this society so we're not walking around like sheep.
So before we lose, because the show, we only got a few more minutes left before the show runs out. For those folks that want more information about Michigan United, about how to get involved, about how to come out and help you find candidates and train candidates, how can they get in touch with you and your organization?
On the candidate training side, it's Michigan People's Campaign, and their website is mipeoples.org. And on the issue and education side, it's Michigan United. miunited.org.
miunited.org and mipeople.org. Now, say that again. Peoples. MIPeoples. People don't forget to put the S on the end. mipeoples.org. So tell me this. What does your organization look for when you decide we've got somebody sitting here in our organization right now, and this is a grassroots person, he really has the right heart, he or she has the right heart. What do you look for in the people that you say we need to help push that candidate?
First and foremost, a direct connection to the issues that they're talking about. The last thing we need are saviors or people just regurgitating solutions that they are around the state. We want people who've actually walked and lived the lives that they're talking about, because they're actually the closest. They're the closest to the solution, but furthest from the resources. And part of our job is to make sure they get the resources to actually bring the solutions to the problems that they've lived with. We know that we aren't alone in this world. If we're going through a problem, there are millions of other people who are going through that same problem. But we've actually taught to be quiet and live in shame. So we teach people to take that private shame that we've been taught to feel and turn that into into public outrage, into a public movement. And that's the gap that we feel.
So, for example, you want somebody who's actually experienced homelessness before. You want somebody who's lost a job and they've been discriminated against. You want somebody who's actually felt real world problems, and that you want to know that those people are committed to helping to solve those problems.
It's the third thing you said, because we don't want to just put specifications on what hardship you went through, but it's the real world problems. You've experienced real world problems. You understand how it feels. You have empathy for those around you that are going through this. The majority of us are experiencing real world problems. We just don't talk about it. But there are a few, about 30% of us in the legislature or so, that actually don't come from that walk of life. They've been born into this, they've been pushed into this, or they're just getting money on the side, and it's their business, so that when they do step out of office, they're set for life.
So here's the thing, but you also said what you don't look for is somebody who just regurgitates something that they heard. You don't look for the person that says, well, this organization came to me and told me that they were going to fund me if I ran, and they gave me a list of problems and they gave me talking points, and so I'm going to say the things that they told me to say. Those are not the kind of candidates that you are looking to try and push into office, right?
Absolutely not. First and foremost, we don't fund candidates at all. We fund issues. But one of the questions that you ask is, are you looking for somebody who knows what they stand for and just going to drive forward and just do what they're going to do, or somebody who's just going to listen to every poll and just change their mind every week? And I think we set ourselves up for failure when we even pose a question like that, because it's not either or, it's both. I want somebody who knows what they stand for and why they stand for it, who understands the issues intimately that they're talking about, but who also have enough confidence and maturity to change their mind when someone is talking to them and presenting them alternative solutions.
And tell me this year, how many actual people who fit that mold do you believe that are getting ready to jump into the races, the faces that we will actually see, the people that we actually that we need to get to know?
I couldn't put them on Kerry.
So when you have names, are you going to be calling saying these are the names? I need y'all to get to know these people.
We'll get through our endorsement processes, and then we'll put that stuff.
Brother, we need leaders. We need real leaders in this community. People are starving for real leaders. We are tired of people who simply, I'm going to use your words, regurgitate what somebody else told them to do. And we have real problems that need to be addressed by real leaders. And I can tell you, I can sit here for the next 3-4 hours and ask people to call me and tell me who the real leaders are, and they're all going to say, well, I just can't think of anybody right now. That's a problem. That, to me, I believe it's a problem.
It is a problem.
All right. I don't want you to miss your flight, brother. Have safe travels. I'm out of time, y'all. Those of you that called that I didn't get a chance to get to you, call me tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Next up is State Representative Joel Jones. Either he or a member of the foundation will bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9 this morning, followed by Attorney Anthony Adams, who's here to discuss politics, culture, and the community from 9 to 11. I will be back in front of this microphone tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 o'clock. Looking forward to talking to each and every one of y'all. Get out, enjoy the day, stay safe. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning.